there, my name's Daphne. Would it be okay if we set up shop here?
Hello, my fellow clairvoyant capybaras. I'm Mr. Church. Today we're going to be building right here on this road near the Palace of the Winding Path. You're going to find a little truck here with lots of rubble in the streets. Now this rubble is an important part of the build and the design of it, so that's why I chose this area. You could build what we're building at any other place that you find that has a rubble like this, but it does add a lot of detail to it. Let's make sure you have the right camp equipped. You never want to move the one that you can't ever rebuild, and then because then you'll stick stuff in your eyeballs and never play the game again. Now there's other things that might make you also not want to play the game again, but we don't have time to get into that right now. Let's just pretend everything's fine and move this camp module over here into the road. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using this red rocket here. As you can see, there's a wolf coming out of it. Always good when you're trying to record something, when things can just please ruin everything. That would be good, thank you. Now, we're just going to put this, just try to get it kind of in place, but I want that tree next to it to still be there. So try to get kind of close to that, and also as parallel to the road as you can. Now, it doesn't matter if the overhang is in the street because it won't have an overhang on it when we're done. What we're doing is we're going to be building with a destroyed red rocket because it looks awesome. It looks awesome and amazing, and I think we can make something really cool and scrappy with this if we can figure out how to. Now, the problem with building on destroyed objects like this is you can't. I mean, like, you can't build on top of it because it hates you. But we'll figure out a way. You know, where there's a will, there's a way. Except, I don't know. Forget it. Just forget that part of it. Now, you can put a door in it for some reason. But unfortunately, what you'll find is you can't place objects on a destroyed object. It'll just say, no, you're not allowed to, Jimmy. So go home. Now, I still want to, so I'm going to do it anyway, but they don't want me to, and that's fine. Now, I'm going to demonstrate what happens if you try to build on top of an object and then you destroy it, because that's not an option either, because what happens is the objects that we're placing inside this red rocket, the support of them is the red rocket. So you take away the red rocket, you take away the support, and those are gone. They're still there, but they're invisible. And they have no hitbox anymore. They're not actually there. They exist, but they're in another dimension. You know, kind of like my sense of well-being and peace of mind. Now, as you can see, those things disappear, but there is one object that doesn't do this. And that, of course, is the filing cabinet. That's why Bethesda gave us one for just $12 a month. No, they did that because they're shit. Now, the problem, the thing that happens with the filing cabinet is it actually floats. It needs support to build it, but once you build it, it doesn't actually have support, which means it's not being supported by the red rocket like the other stuff in here is. And I can demonstrate by if I destroy this, the filing cabinet is still there because the filing cabinet is not being held up by the red rocket garage like the other objects are. And I can demonstrate this if I were to repair this. If I pick this whole thing up, everything in it should move, but the filing cabinet doesn't. And so it can be annoying in some builds, but in this, it's going to be our ticket out of here. It's going to be our plane ticket to the Caribbean. I have no idea what I'm saying, and that's fine because it's absolutely nothing new. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the technology of floating filing cabinets to build inside the broken red rocket building. Now you can also use consoles, the things that came on the scoreboard, and I think some came in the Atom Shop, or maybe they just had two different kinds in the scoreboard. I don't remember or care very much, but I'm going to use filing cabinets because they're universal and they're more scrappy. But the consoles do function the same way, so you can use those as well. Now what I'm going to do, first of all, is I need to put a big carpet on top of a filing cabinet, and it's not going to let me place it just on one filing cabinet. It's going to say it needs support. So I'm going to build a big mass of them until I can place the big rug down. And this rug will only be being supported by one of these filing cabinets. And so we're just going to start moving them out of the way until we can find the one that's giving us our lovely, beautiful, and joyful support on this fine morning. And so just keep moving it over. Just move, move, move. Everything's going to be okay. And eventually you'll find the one that's holding up the carpet. It won't be too difficult to do this, obviously. Just take a few hours of your life, and we have plenty of that to spare. Now we found it, so that's good. This is going to be our way of doing this. So take a pressure plate, and if it's sunk into the ground, you can absolutely have another one. And why not? Why not have two pressure plates? And we're going to do a sinking here, and we're going to sink it down until the big carpet is underneath the filing cabinet. Now remember, filing cabinet is still the support of the carpet, regardless of what it looks like. And that's how this is going to work, because everything that we build inside of the red rocket is going to be eventually, the support is going to be traced back to this single filing cabinet, which obviously will not be supported by the garage, which means it will float, which means everything we build in here should float and will not disappear when we destroy the object. Okay, well, I don't need to get all worked up about it, you see, but also my mouth is so dry. I need to drink water so bad, but I don't want to ruin the video, so I'm just going to be thirsty. No, I have to drink water. Like, drinking water, I'm going to drink the water. Here it goes. Man. You know, that was so refreshing. Actually, my water bottle's empty. I don't know what just went into my mouth, but it wasn't the first time. Anyway, as you can see, the filing cabinet is still there, and of course the rugs are as well, because the rugs are supported by the filing cabinet. So we can begin placing a carpeting of carpet all along the bottom of the floor, and most of them, because we sunk it down so much, is actually going to be invisible and underneath that floor texture. So it's going to be great. No one's going to know what's going on in there. They're not going to see what you've done. And if some of them are sticking up a little bit, you can probably sink it just a little lower. And I just noticed watching back that I'm definitely not using contractor as I build right now. So that's good. It's just costing me, you know, millions of resources. And that's a good thing. I always try to make my life as miserable as possible, because, you know, inherently, it's just not bad enough on its own. And that's why I play Fallout 76. I want to be a part of a game and play a game that puts out a brand new Halloween bundle in the Atom Shop the day after Halloween. That, to me, is intelligence in marketing. You know, that is someone thinking deeply about the player base and making the best decision for all of us. And that's the kind of people that I want to affiliate with. You know what I mean? And that's definitely the type of thing that I want to spend my time supporting. So here we are, and that's what we're going to do. And if you didn't pick up the new bundle, don't forget to do that, you know. I mean, you won't be able to use it till next year, but who cares? You know, I think they probably won't put it back in the Atom Shop. They certainly didn't do that this year. They didn't put the last year, wait. Anyway, so, as you can see, you can keep lifting that up to kind of see where the gaps are as you go, and you can place down more carpets where you see gaps. Obviously, don't place it, just pick it up and look. And that's a good way of determining just where the holes are. See, there's a big hole there we can place down. And again, it's okay if some of the carpets are visible, because we're building a scrappy shack here. So, you know, there will be some carpets in here. And then, as you can see, we can now place objects down in here when we couldn't before, because now there's a blanket of rugs underneath that, which is what everything's going to be sitting on. And obviously, if there's little holes, you're not going to be able to place in that area. So try to get as much of it covered as you can. Now I want to put a special door in. If you ever have a door that won't place in a doorway, just find one that can, and then you can just replace to the one that you want. It's pretty simple. But this is what we have here, and I'm going to open my Pip-Boy for no reason, and then close it again. Now I'm going to take this blueprint here. I show how to build it in the video. There's a link up in the top corner of the screen you can click on if you want to see how I built this blueprint. I've got a whole video of different blueprints that I use quite frequently. Because it was taking a lot of time to show how to make the same blueprint every single day, and I just couldn't have it. Now, there is clearing of the throat that I hear, so I'm going to probably just wipe that out, just like we wish we could wipe out our memories of how much time we've spent playing this game, and that's okay. What? Playing this game? I haven't been... Anyway, so make sure you're careful when you delete that mat in there and that it's not one of the other rugs. And when we have it like this, we can obviously switch it to the brick, which goes really well with the Red Rocket bricks. And it's the same color. It's a little bit smaller brick, but I think it works okay. And this is kind of what I'm going to be using for this. And I think that is going to look super good. If you don't have this specific wall set, I believe it was on the scoreboard. And I could be wrong about that, and if I am, well, you know, perfection can only go so far, you know? And as I do have perfect recall, that would be a surprise to me if I got it wrong. Because normally I am infallible in every way, you know? But there could be things that I get wrong here and there. You never know. So if that's incorrect and it wasn't on the scoreboard, you can let me know in the comments section. It's always good to learn things if you don't know them already, or you can just keep doing the same things over and over when people complain about it. That's what Bethesda does, and I think it's a good method. It's certainly going to keep the veteran players attached and playing the game after years of abuse. So what I've done here clearly is I've put in two different walls, staggered them, and one of them is going to be a boarded up doorway and the other one's going to be the walls that we look into. Now I can only put one roof up here, but that's just going to be what holds up the rest of our roofs, and I'm going to be using rugs again, and this time it's to create like an upper floor area for me to place what I'm going to be using as the roof on. That sentence was convoluted, and I know that some of my English professors wouldn't have noticed because they were too busy drooling out of the corner of their mouths and being sexist. Luckily, when I reported him to the dean said he's tenured, so why don't you just suck it up? And I said, okay, that's fine. Probably nothing bad will come of his career, given that every single person in the class, of course, did have the same perception that I did and quit the course pretty early on. And the important lesson to learn here is you don't need to learn about Chaucer when you have the inability to learn how to treat another human being with respect. That's okay. Part of that is an opinion of mine that I have, and maybe Chaucer is more important after all. I mean, the question being, given God's omniscient view, never mind, okay? The Canterbury Tales aside, I'm just going to be trying to fill this in with big rugs, and that's going to allow us to place this pit scaffolding ramp up here, which we're going to be using as the roof. And so what you're going to do is try to eyeball that as best you can. And for some people, that's going to be better than others. I know mine is pretty crooked, but it's okay if it's a little crooked here because we're building a shitty shack. So if the peak of the top of the roof is a little crookedy crook, I don't know. It's going to be fine. It wouldn't snap on, so I toggled off the ability to snap, and then I was able to free place them closer together. But this part was tricky, and you're going to want to cover the whole area with carpets before you build them. And you can also stick carpets off the corners and the sides, because these also float meaning that you can delete the carpets from underneath them, and it won't delete these scaffolding ramps, okay? So you can build like a huge area of rugs if you need to, if it's like too close to the edge and it's not letting you place it down, like I did in this back corner here, and you'll be able to delete those without it causing any problems. You know, it will maybe cause problems visually. You might be like, oh man, my eyes are bleeding, but I think you can probably handle that. I mean, you've made it this far through the video, and also if you're still watching this, thank you so much for your support. And I also wanted to say, I know it's been a long time since I've uploaded, and for those of you that have definitely been crying yourselves to sleep about it, I do apologize. I know that it can be very disheartening, you know, when you have abandonment fear and someone just disappears on you like that. Unfortunately, I did come back. But there are things happening. I'm a real human being. I know it sounds like I might be just a deranged robot, but that's not true. And so there are things going on in my life that require lots of copious medication. And when I say medication, I do mean crying into my pillow and binge drinking vodka. I don't do that. That's a joke, so don't be that concerned. But things are fine, but sometimes, you know, people have actual lives that prevents them from doing the things they enjoy doing. And I do apologize. And also, I've been thinking there might be some new, different types of content coming to the channel in addition to these build tutorials. So I've been kind of thinking and planning some things out there in my moments of existential despair. And I think you guys are going to like it. But what do I know? I don't even know what I like. So let's find out. Maybe one day, sometime soon, there's going to be something else. What is it going to be, though? Is it going to be something interesting? So anyway, what I've done here is I've taken a corner porch, and it just so happens to have this hole here that matches perfectly with this tree, and I picked the corner porch so it would look like it's kind of collapsing and falling down. Now, I want to have some meat coming out of this fridge, and obviously I finished the roof while, you know, I wasn't recording because it took so long and so much patience that I ended up actually screaming. And the real reason I haven't uploaded in so long was I was just finishing the roof over there. It was about 40 days and 40 nights, and then I got that done. Don't look in here yet, it's not ready for you to see it. But we're going to be adding lots of meat chunks everywhere, because the idea of this build is just that it's owned by maybe a sadistic child that eats people. Now, there's going to be a lot of stuff that I show you at the end, because getting the roof in and the floor in those two walls, that's basically the whole structure of the build, and the rest is just, you know, merging and decoration and stuff like that. So we can go over that once I stop having random hiccups when I'm trying to record videos. That'd be good. I can edit that out. It'll be gone. Now, as you can see, I floated this rock on top of a conduit, and then I was able to get it into the bed of the truck. You can't place stuff on that truck. It hates you. But that's how I was able to do that. It's actually being supported by that. Now, I have a hanging meat pile that I made, and I'm going to show you how to do that real quick, because apparently I wasn't recording the first time. That's good. I like doing that. So I'm going to make another one that I don't actually end up using. So what I do is I start off like this, and then reverse merge by placing on the camp module. That'll make the top item pop up, just like we did just a minute ago. Now we're going to take this and place it here, and it's impossible to make it centered because of the way the field of view changes in the game. So it's going to take about a year to get it centered. It'll look centered, and then you go around and it looks so crooked you can't believe it. But anyway, once you get it sort of lined up, and it's not going to be perfect for this demonstration because this is just to show you how I did it, it's going to be floating, obviously, so we're going to take it over to a pressure plate and merge that down, and that's going to make that conduit on the bottom there sink into the meat just a bit. And then we're going to take it and place it on another conduit piece until that's the support of everything, and we're going to reverse merge that. This is going to get the meat chunk up in the air where, you know, Jesus wants it. Lo, I am with you always, he said. I don't know why he said always instead of always. Maybe that was a problem with the translation of the text, but I'm not a biblical scholar, but if I was, I would be really confused why Jesus' body didn't fall back to earth after he ascended into heaven, because he would have gone up into the air, and then eventually he would have met the ethereal plane, and he would have detached from his physical form, and his physical form would have no being inside it and would therefore fall back to earth or be circling in the outer space. So if you're running a satellite, maybe you could check on that, see what's going on out there. Imagine that would be interesting. But as you can see, you can just hook it up to the house that way, and that's what I did for this meat bag there, and the conduit's down there holding it up. Now I'm going to show you the finished product, whatever it is. And there's a lot of stuff that didn't end up getting recorded because it was a lot of little decoratey things, but I can show you them now as we walk towards it. First of all, though, you're going to see that there's lots of meat chunks everywhere. And the way I got this sunk into the ground like this is I placed it on that plushie, and then I sunk that down so that the plushie was above it. But the plushie is still the thing it's sitting on. So I can place the plushie, and then it'll sink that meat down. It's a good way to get stuff into the ground if it's kind of floating a bit. And of course, there's the asteroid that we put on the back of the truck. Now, the story, of course, is that this building has got a lot of weird radiation stuff in it, and that's why it was condemned. And then some sadistic child has used it as their own place to chew on people. Now, this is a table, and I'm using it as a little bridge here. It's merged down into one of these rocks, and I just did the drop merge with that until the thing was low. And over here, of course, there is lots of bones, and there is lighting, and there's chunks, lots of meat. This one is more meat, and that one is sunk into the fridge. That's not a fridge, oh my god, that is clearly an oven. Now, as you can see, the finished roof is looking pretty nice, but on this end here, I do have to say that Vapid Valentine created that top arch piece up there. This is, again, the meat. Well, I have ADHD. Let's look at that real quick. But there it is. Very good. But anyway, Vapid Valentine helped me create the end cap for this building here. I was just going to leave it empty, and she looked and beheld that it could have some stuff on it. And she built that. I'm going to leave a link to her channel in the description. Go check her out. She makes amazing builds, and she also streams on Twitch. I'll leave a link for that as well. But as you can see, that tick I named in her honor. Its name is Vapid Valentine the Third. The second one, I don't know where it is, but that one is the third one. And as you can see, I put some junk walls in here, some bones everywhere, and there's a lot of little details. But as you can see, the way the rubble on the road is, it really ties together the broken down feeling of it. Now here I have an oven, and I sunk down a torch thingy. I don't know what that's called. It's the Atom Shop skeleton totem thing. And I sunk it down to look like a grease fire or something. The oven is outside, so it doesn't catch everything else on fire. And you can see that really looks like the tree fell on the porch and collapsed it and knocked it down a little bit because we used the corner slant. Details in any build are what's going to tell your story as far as what's going on, why it's the way it is, what happened. So pay attention to details. Floating objects will ruin immersion. That's just, his name is, this guy's name is Danny Boy. The pipes are, what? Oh, those are, hold on. And then, so anyway, that floating rock, for example, that I just walked by, don't worry about it. Okay, there's no floating rocks. Don't float anything. It's bad. So, I'm circling like a predator because I want an animal, and that's going to be okay, a bird of prey. Now, let's close that up here. Close that. Good, good. Nice. Anyway, let's try to go this way, and, yeah, I sorry about that, whole bird of prey comment. I didn't want to make you guys think I was giving SH Games a shout out there. We don't talk about that anymore. So let's go inside now. As you can see, we have bones hanging around. That's if you get boned. Anyway, the child clearly has issues, okay? And it eats people, and she's, got the leftovers lying around here and there. And she can sleep amongst them, comforting among the rib cages of her fallen enemies. Am I right? And there's meat coming out of her fridge, and also there's brains in a jar. In the back corner here, you can see she made a meat man, just for something to gobble up while she's waiting for her next meal to stumble by. Now we have lots of funny little hints at it, like eat well, live well, jars of brains, meat chunks everywhere, a sheep squatch ate my brother on the wall, etc. Maybe trophies of her things that she's accomplished and achieved in her life, a place where you can definitely see that she takes pride in her work, and that's something that we do as well, so we can relate as well. And this place was probably a storage area before the bombs fell, of lots of things. You can use an asteroid, by the way, and break it, and it'll give off the glowing light without it being there, so you can see that that's kind of creating a glow. And we've got storage area, and I sunk a little bit of stuff up here. Oh, this was Vapid Valentine's idea as well, to have that hand. That's the Earl rug, and that's upstairs. I sunk down the incense into the radioactive barrel to make it look like it's about to go critical or something's gone wrong, just to give the idea. There's clearly something going on in here, and the radiation is clearly corrupting the area. And there's definitely a radiation infestation. That's not the word for it, but there's mole rats, and what else am I supposed to say? But there's old machines that were stored in here, and then there was an asteroid with radiation, and maybe they were like, yeah, let's store it in my barn on that old road. And then they put signs up because they're like, okay, let's just leave it here though. And then the bombs fell, no one is attending to it, no one's gonna clean it up. And then insert Cannibal Baby. Cannibal Baby comes in, oh, this is a great place to set up shop. And she's already got enough radiation sickness. But there's little hints to the radiation everywhere. A pile of junk here for the back wall that's been blown out. And there's lots of stuff sunk down in. As you can see, there is also the jar of brains, and there's lots of details if you look around. I don't really understand the camera work here. I didn't record this. Someone else did. I'm sure someone else did this. Because this isn't what I would have done in this situation. Here I have a female mannequin that I sunk down into this punch bowl, and I put the ghoul mask on it to make it look like, of course, she's eating the head of a ghoul. Why wouldn't you do that? I mean, why wouldn't you? But it's facing kind of a stupid direction, but that's probably something I could have done better, to be honest. But, we live and learn from our mistakes, My mistake was thinking this would be a good idea to make a video about this. And what am I learning? Well, nothing. Still gonna upload it probably, so you guys can let me know what happened. But it looks really cool, I think, at night, because keep in mind I recorded this right before the last big update where they ruined the lighting in the game. If you guys have noticed, the lighting's been destroyed, by the way. It looks really like I think it's just really washed out looking and really white. The shadows aren't loading in. It's not good. It has been persistent ever since the last update and the last hot patch. They didn't fix it. If you guys want and feel so inclined, put in a ticket and complaint to Bethesda. Maybe put it in their Discord as well. Please fix the lighting. Look at the lighting in this video. It's kind of darker right now. Then go into the game and compare. You'll think the darks will not be as dark, and there will be lots of this washed out tone. Put on the clean spacesuit, and you'll really see what they did wrong, because that thing is not shiny anymore. It looks like a dull gray color. It's not good. Anyway, I hope you guys really appreciated and enjoyed watching this video. I had fun making it. Thank you so much to my patrons and channel members for your support. You guys make the dream possible. If you guys are not in my Discord, consider hopping in there. It's a great community. And follow me on Twitch if you want to watch me live stream. And I'll see you guys in what I can only describe as the next video. And try not to get eaten by little cannibal babies.